Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Thursday's edition of Premarket Info.
Joel, you're back. You're back. You're back. And what is happening? How was that little vacation you took?
I should be like a billboard for up north Michigan. Had a great time, but I'm a little disappointed in you, Dennis. Before I left, I told you to push the S&Ps back, up through that 1680 level. It's made a couple stabs at it, 1678 today. Got some good earnings. That's the bogey on the upside, and we also have three out of the last four lows right here at the 1666 number. So you devil worshippers, you got a number to look at on the downside.
That 1680 has been resistance. Man, you talked about that number on Monday being key. You messaged me, and it has been key every day. We seem to get up in that area, but every day we just can't get through it. So obviously 1680.50 has been the resistance and continues to remain major resistance for the S&P futures. Joel, we have so many earnings to talk about. We'll try to go through the main ones here. We'll start with the ones from last night. The big gun, big blue IBM reporting earnings. 391 versus 377, 2.49 or 24.9 billion versus 25.36 billion. So a slight miss on the top line, but they're raising their full year outlook too. They're now seeing at least 1690. They were seeing 1670 before, and that's got the stock popping here in the pre-market. Although in the after hours session, it was popping even higher.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Goldman, was it last week, kind of whooped up on this stock with the downgrade and, sent it spiraling back down to the 190 level. Now it's back up here. It just seems like IBM always seems to churn back. Let's get a day intraday perspective. We hit 202.50 on that
Yep,
pop,
yeah, it was
and then came
flying. Like right after
wow.
that report, I was like, oh, maybe I should try. Because sometimes I'm crazy and I like to fade something when it gets to a big hole number like that 200. But it just blew through it, just cut through like a hot knife through butter. There was no way it blew straight up to that 202.50, and then eventually started to come back down.
Right, and then since that time period, it's come down and found a couple bottoms here, just under 196. So I know those are pretty big parameters to look at. But when the stock moves, almost $10 in the pre-market, that's what you got to look at. So I like the not 196 as support. That 200 level, nice psychological level, haven't been up there in a while. So we'll keep an eye on that on the upside. Just looking at it from a daily perspective, though, I guess you could just kind of call this like the coiling formation here. Bounced
I like
around the
that.
190 for a while, and now it's popped up. So got a little bit of a work to do to stay over this 200, but I'd be very impressed if it closed over 200 today.
Yeah, 200 is going to be the big number. Might test it there. Obviously, we blew through it in the after hours last night, but it has been trading under 200 for the majority of the pre-market session here. So 200 giving some significant resistance even in the pre-market. Another couple big guns reported last night. Intel, INTC, reported earnings. They disappointed. They came in line at 39 cents, and the revenue number was a bit light at 12.8 billion. They were looking for 12.89 billion. So that sent Intel spiraling down. Then the IBM numbers came up. Actually, if we look at the after-hours action from last night, once the IBM numbers came out after the Intel numbers, Intel actually did pop back up. But then all of a sudden just turned around and sold off again. So it gave you two shots actually to get out of that Intel after the report. And obviously now there was a bad spike there in the pre-market. It's been trading down here the entire pre-market though at 23.43 and under 23.50.
Yeah, that initial spike, people got a little carried away. We took it up to 24.50, came crashing back down under 23.20, and since we hit that 23.10 low after hours, just kind of been a slow, steady climb here up to the level that we're trading. Right around here, 23.41. Let's get the daily perspective on this to try and get some parameters today. Look at that 24.50 level, Dennis.
That
It
was
bounced
huge.
up there quite a few times. Of course, that's what you hit in the pre-market, so you're not going to get an opportunity to look at that today. I don't think so. So it's trading down 72 cents. So we'll have to look at the support here. We are breaking below 23.50, but folks, keep in mind you got a gap down to 23.30 here. So come back and find that area. I think you're going to see some welcome buyers here all the way between 23 and 23.50.
eBay also reported earnings here last night, and it is getting rocked. They missed on the top. Well, actually, on the top they beat 3.9 billion versus 3.89 billion, but they missed on the bottom line. They only made 63 cents. We're looking to make 64. They hate it when these tech stocks and these companies like this miss. It had run up into earnings something fierce. We were trading just above $50 about 3 weeks ago, closed at 57.38, giving back half of those gains here this morning as the stock is down $3.50 right now, trading at 53.75. So it was an ugly report from eBay, and they were taking it out and beating it behind the woodshed because of that ugly report.
Only I can find a bullish formation in the stock down. I'm just Mr. Bull since I'm back
You
here.
are. What happened up there?
Yeah, I mean they pounded it, under $54. But if that's not a rounding bottom, then kind of similar to the ones I saw on the beach here up north. But it's just rounding bottom here. I mean, people are looking at to buy the stock between 50. Let's call it the low of the pre-market here, 53.32 up to 53.60 is just holding there. I think you bust above 54, and you could easily recoup some of this ground. Trying to get a daily perspective on this. We have not been in this area. We've traded down to 53. That was back earlier in the month. So I don't know. I mean, I would not be shorting into this. This down 373. I'd instead be looking at this $53 level. You had 53.37 low on July 8th, 53.01 in July 5th, and then you're under 52.80. So I think the shorts are getting a gift here trading at this level.
American Express also reported earnings there last night. AXP stock is trading down here in the pre-market. Obviously, they had that news from the Financial Times there the day before, where they were talking about the EU putting a cap on card transaction fees. That had beat up American Express pretty good off the open, but it did come back yesterday along with MasterCard and Visa. Surprisingly enough, MasterCard and Visa, I believe, actually ended up yesterday after all that news. American Express got back most of the losses, but here we are again, American Express giving back a lot of the gains that it had made yesterday afternoon and trading down here about $1 in the pre-market off of this earnings report. The numbers were $1.27 versus $1.22, so they did beat on the bottom line, but the top line revenue miss, $8.24 billion versus $8.3 billion. Investors aren't liking that.
75.30 is the level that you've hit in the pre-market. Let's look at this from a daily look here. Haven't traded down to the 75 level.
Yesterday we did.
We did trade through it yesterday on the negative news there. Takes me a day to get back to this crazy market. But looking at yesterday's low at 74.62, have not been able to hit that yet in the pre-market. Keep an eye on that level if it continues to go into reverse. Below that, you have another major low at 73.91 on July 3rd. Coming back on the upside, I mean, you still are within yesterday's range. So if you get back up near the close of 76.80, I'd expect to find some resistance.
Yeah, those are the parameters I'm using if I'm trading this right off the hop. I'm using yesterday's high and yesterday's low because there was a big range yesterday. So if it can get down to any of those levels or get up to those levels, I think you will find some resistance. We've had a couple other ones last night. SanDisk also reported earnings, which is SNDK. Stock is trading up 4.5% here in the pre-market at 62.12. Stock reported and blew the numbers away. I'm telling you, $1.21 versus 92 cents, 1.48 billion versus 1.4 billion. So SanDisk really knocking it out of the park here, and the stock is trading up here significantly this morning, bumping up to the highs we saw just about 3 weeks ago.
It was actually elevated up to 63.75 when the initial earnings was announced. We'll come back since that time. We've traded as low as 61.15, so I'd keep an eye on that level. Those are two pretty wide parameters. Looking at
You're
the
gonna like this
daily
one.
chart here. Yeah, let's see here. What can we find here? Pucks,
63.73.
yeah, yep, 63.73. Perfect. Coincides with that pre-market high, so that should act as double secret good resistance if you get back up to that
Yeah,
area.
those old 52-week highs and 52, that works. Those numbers do work, and right there in the pre-market, if you were trading this thing last night, you're probably looking, and if you're looking at it at that 52-week high when it just ticked 2 cents above it there, that was it. So it got up there and it tried to fight it. You can even see 3, 4 times trying to test to break through that 52-week high, could not do it, and then all of a sudden gives it back and traded back down. It looks like to the low 61s. So even in the pre-market after hours, if you're trading, we had about $2.50 fall there, just from when it was trading at that high there. So lots of opportunity if you're using those 52-week highs as parameters for these stocks. Also reporting last night, and this is actually going to be your big loser of the day, is JAKK, Jack's Pacific. We've never talked about this company on the show, but I want to talk about it because they missed the earnings, just enormous miss, losing $2.14. Estimates were supposed to make a nickel. I think that's right. 106.2 million versus 145 million in the revenue numbers. So they missed big time. Stock down 23%. Goes from basically trading at the highs to trading below the lows here. Just taking it and beating the stock this morning.
8.25 is where it got to on that initial tankage here, trading at 8.79. So that should act as good support here, at least in the morning. Coming back on the upside, it sniffed 950 a few times, but has not been able to clear that level. You clear 950 here, and you got a couple buck gap up to the 1150 area, which was the close and the low. I don't know. Is a daily going to do anything on this one? We
No, you're
haven't
sitting at
traded.
52-week lows right now. Actually,
Okay,
sitting at
so
multi-year lows.
so we'll look. We'll go for the monthly
Keep
just to
going.
try
You
and.
got to go a long ways because I'm not finding anything on mine.
All right,
2003.
forget it. Then I'll stick with the 8.25 level.
You're going through 10-year lows here on Jack's Pacific. It's not a good day for shareholders, longs anyways. We have a lot of earnings here that have reported here this morning. Major companies, Verizon reported earnings here, 73 cents versus 72. 29.79 billion versus 29.82 billion. So a slight miss on the top, a slight beat on the bottom. It's not good enough to take in the stock. It's down 50 cents right now, 50.10. Verizon here looking a little bit weak this morning.
Yeah, this is one of these pre-market charts that does not showing a lot of support yet. You are clipping here, coming near the $50 level. Two lows to keep an eye on here in Verizon. Let's pull up the daily to get a perspective on this. You had a low going back just on Tuesday, 49.71. So that should be your first minor support point. After that, you had a low at 49.40. So you got a couple levels there. You're only 60 cents away from there. Perhaps split that area. Call it 49.55 is major support. And then coming back on the upside, Dennis, you're only, to fill the gap, you only need to get up to 50.57. The close right in that vicinity too. So after trading down 64 cents in the pre-market, if you do catch this thing long off the open, it gets up in that mid 50 handle, 50.50, 50.55. You might want to throw an offer or two out there.
Morgan Stanley trading up here, looking like it's going to break out to a new 52-week high here this morning too on their earnings report. 45 cents versus 43 cents, so they beat by a couple cents on the bottom line. The top line, they blew it away, 8.3 billion versus 7.9 billion. That's really what has propelled Morgan Stanley higher here this morning. I'm kind of kicking myself when this thing went over 28. I was like, this just seems ridiculously overdone. And I'm looking, I should short it. And then I got sidetracked. I didn't short it. Now it's back down, trading 27.64. So there's a good 50 cents. We're 60 cents off the highs here now. Obviously, get back up into this whole 28 area. I think you find some major resistance.
It's ridiculous. It traded up to 28.21.
Yeah, it's a big move.
Yeah, that obliterated like the probably 52-week high, probably 5-year high on Morgan Stanley
Probably,
here because
yeah.
you were previously
Well,
ran
2011.
into trouble. Yep.
So 2-year high.
27. Yep, 2-year high. Really, 27.17 was your previous 52-week high, and few year high. So if you come back down into the lower 27s here, I'd expect to find support there. Probably is gonna, if you're waiting for this to fill the gap down to 26.65, you might have to wait another day or two here. But impressive move for Morgan. But here's one of those stocks that if you put it in the context of the great financial
Oh, it's
crisis,
not even close to being
yeah,
back.
yeah, still has a ways to
Go
go.
back to that chart that just had up. It was a high $90, $90 in 2007. Just go back a little bit further.
What am
You
I?
had I saw it there
Let
for a
me
quick
see.
second. Just wanted to look at what that high was.
I did. I don't think it
You
was
can do
quite
that.
90. I don't.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was. It was
That
higher. Yeah,
really?
for some reason it's not going. Oh yeah, Morgan Stanley was up trading at $90 here at one time. So either way, we can't see it there, but it was trading $90 at one time. It's trading 26 now. So you can say it's been a great couple of years for Morgan Stanley, but it has not been a good decade for Morgan Stanley. Also reporting this morning, we have UNH, United Healthcare, and that stock has been on a tear for a long time, for the entire year pretty much. It's just been moving slowly and steadily straight up here. We are about a buck off the 52-week high. We have sold off the last few days, but this morning it is rallying $1.40 versus $1.25, so they kind of blew the bottom number away. The revenue was a little bit light, 30.4 versus 30.5, but that bottom line beat is really propelling the stock here this morning, and it is trading up $1.25 here in the pre-market.
68.31 was the initial high here at just in the around 8 o'clock this morning. Since then, we pulled back and found some minor support at the 67.20 level. They are liking these earnings. The stock has been on a tear here. Former high of the move, 68.75, folks. So let's keep an eye on that level. As we said in the pre-market, we didn't quite get up there. We got to 68.31. So another buck from here, you'll be finding some pretty good resistance in United Healthcare.
Here's a big stock getting killed. Philip Morris. This is a big miss. On the top line, 7.92 billion versus 8.19 billion. On the bottom line, a buck 30 against estimates of a buck 41. So that's a top and bottom line miss for PM. That's Mo, but for PM, that
Oh,
was the
sorry.
spinoff. I know that's they spun that off. They used to be the same company when they were back in the day. But Philip Morris, PM, down here, getting pretty killed. Actually, down almost $2, over $2, 86.94 after closing at 89.71. So Philip Morris getting down, but we've got some support coming here, Joel, and I'll leave that up to
Yeah,
you.
this is a tricky one here, Dennis, because they are knocking this thing down on absolutely no volume.
3,800 shares
I,
only. Yep.
yeah, they are just knocking the daylights out of it. 86.86 is the current low, so we'll keep an eye down 285 here. Let's go to the daily and see if
You're
we
gonna
can
like this
find
number.
yeah, we can find some support here.
I got a double bottom
And
at 86.05. If you look
yeah,
back,
yeah, I tell
back-to-back
you, I'd love.
days.
Yeah, boy, it would be nice to see him hit this thing on light volume all the way down to there because here's a stock that does trade 4 or 5 million shares a day. So the getting knocked down on the percentage here of volume is very low. Dennis is earmarking that June 24th and June 25th low of
86.05.
86.05. I'd bet a wood and nickel. I don't think it's going to get there today.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to get there, but I'll tell you, if it does get there, I'm probably going to be picking bottoms on this one. I don't usually like picking bottoms. I'm going to try to pick a bottom this one. If it starts taking up to 86, though, I might get a bit nervous. But
You know
I'll.
what you got to do is you got to go out at 86.10 because if you wait and try
Is
and
that where you want me to
to
put my
move
order? You
over.
want me to put it out there right now? Everybody can front run me. 86.10. I'm there. I'm
80
86.10. You're Friday. You're
But you
now
gotta
stepping.
give it. You gotta give it. They'll print it under 86, so you can't put an 85.99 stop in there, Dennis.
Where do I have
You
to take
gotta.
it down to? Tell me where I have
I
to take it
think
down to so they don't shake me out.
85.75 is your stop, and you get a buck.
85.75 is the stop. Joel's giving me the entire parameters for this trade. This is why I like Joel. He gives me the entire trade. I don't even have to think now. I'm going to put my bid at 86.10, Joel says, and my stop out at 85.75. Where's my target, Joel? You might as well give me the whole dang
You,
trade.
You get a stick out of this one,
It a
man.
stick, 87.10. So we're looking to risk
Yep.
45 cents, looking to make a buck. I like it. Better than 2 to
Right.
1 risk return. I'll try it out and see how Joel does on his when his first day back here. Maybe he's really, seen everything from being up there on vacation. He's clear-headed now. We can see all the future here. Philip
We'll
Morris
soon
trading
find out.
Philip Morris trading down. Let's look at a couple of sympathy stocks that could have RAI, Reynolds America. Obviously, they could have a sympathy move here. I don't think there's been any trades here this morning on RAI yet this morning, but it is offered at 52.56. Interesting. This one just kissed up to a 52-week high yesterday at 52.75. So we'll have to see if they get any weakness off those Philip Morris numbers. And obviously the other one would be Altria MO. That's the other company that's obviously related to Philip Morris. It is trading down about a dime here in the pre-market, so I'd be shocked if you didn't see a little bit of weakness here this morning in MO.
Okay, just look at Phyllis Morris's Phillips Morris.
You know,
MO has had a nice run here. If you're looking for support in that stock, did have a double bottom here at 36.70 and 80 here. So another 15-20 cents here you find into some support. But below that, you could sink under 36 and a half. Next major support level for that is 36.27.
we are starting to run late here on time. Just want to mention you do have Google and Microsoft both reporting tonight. Maybe you should give a quick technical on the Goog monster there, Joel, because we have a lot of traders that like to trade that stock. Has been struggling up here in this one area around 928. This is interesting. You don't see formations like this too often, but we had a high on just 3 days ago at 928. The next day we had a high at 927.97. That's only 3 cents away. And then yesterday a high at 926.86. So three tops within a buck of each other on a $900 stock. What's that telling you?
I think if you're trying to sell the top here, if it gets back up, into that 927, 928 level, you do have good resistance here. If you're trying to protect your profits on the downside, I'm just looking. You've managed that. Three of the last four lows have maintained above the 915 level. That 913.90 low, that was on Tuesday. But just from if you're trying to lock in profits on this thing, if this thing closed under 915, I don't know if I'd want to take it going into earnings.
Joel, any final thoughts on the E-mini here? We're trading up right under your number, 1680 and a half. You were saying we're
Yeah.
1679 and a quarter right now. We're only a buck away from it. You think we can? We got kind of a running start at it. Can we kick through that here today? Is it going to be the kickstart? That you're back here and the market's liking that Joel's back, and we're going to bounce up through this, or does that resistance hold once again?
Well, I think what you got to look at here is you've had 4 or 5 days, and the spoos have stayed within a 15-point range. That is very, very unusual. So now you're pressing up against the upper end of it. So another consolidation in the market, and I've been fading it the whole way. I'm not. I'm getting bullish over 1680 here, and make the run to the $1,700 level. On the downside until we close under 1666. I think things are good to go north in the market.
That's our show for today, guys. We'll be back to analyze those Google Microsoft reports and also General Electric and Honeywell reporting tomorrow. And we'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning.